Coming up on this edition of the Newsfeed.
A new program at Virginia Tech seeks to improve the conversation about sexual assault. Find out the details coming up.
Monday was Veterans Day. Find out how one New River Valley town celebrated those who served.
Plus, lots of new faces on Virginia Tech's women's basketball team. See how the team plans to build on last season's success.
Those stories and more next on the Newsfeed. Hello, and thanks for joining us for this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Kelsey Vick.
And I'm Hunter Hokies.
Virginia Tech is holding listening sessions on November 15th and 19th to further understand students' concerns about sexual violence on campus. Newsfeed reporter Samantha Daly has more.
Last Monday, Virginia Tech students received an email from VT Police reporting of a sexual assault case in New Cadet Hall. This was the second sexual assault report this semester.
So what's interesting about the emails is they do not cover the majority of cases for sexual violence.
President Tim Sands appointed 3 faculty members to lead a new committee called the End Sexual Violence Program Committee. This committee hosts appointed faculty and students whose mission is to prevent sexual violence among Virginia Tech students.
It's been a culmination after the past couple years based on pushback from students, faculty, staff, undergraduate students and graduate students who have noticed a problem with sexual violence and gender-based violence on our campus and in our community.
The committee's first step is to initiate a dialogue between faculty and students by hosting 2 listening sessions that will further the understanding of students' concerns on sexual violence.
And so it's really just the beginning of a conversation to get some input from students to see what they particularly think, and then help then as we move forward what additional opportunities we want to provide for folks.
Organizers of the listening sessions hope students are willing to share their input on sexual violence. Reporting for the Newsfeed, this is Samantha Daly.
The listening sessions will be held on November 15th and 19th. Registration is required to attend. The Big HQ2 project in Northern Virginia now means big money for Virginia Tech and Radford. The state of Virginia is investing hundreds of millions of dollars into 11 different universities, and Virginia Tech is among the colleges receiving the most, $545 million. The state investment is going towards the school's computer science program to double the size of graduates needed for Amazon. Virginia Tech spokesperson Mark Ozarski says the university has been preparing for the investment since the opportunity was presented last year.
When the opportunity came from Amazon to say, we'd like to go somewhere, and what we need is talent. We need students who are graduating with these kinds of degrees so that we can hire them. Virginia Tech said, we've already got a plan for that.
Radford University will receive $17 million from the state. Amazon hopes to hire the graduates produced from both schools' computer science programs.
Several Virginia Tech engineering students are using their skills to touch lives in Africa. Newsfeed reporter Corey Van Dyke has this story.
Located at 160 Inventive Lane, a group of Virginia Tech engineers are indeed inventing the future. The Unmanned Systems Lab is home to projects that will have a direct impact across the globe. One of the projects is focused on designing a drone to deliver medical supplies in Malawi, an underdeveloped country in Southeast Africa.
Drone delivery is a neat little trick here in the States or in other developed countries, but in a country like Malawi or Rwanda, drone delivery can mean life or death.
Malawi's infrastructure doesn't provide easy access to key medical supplies, such as blood samples or HIV and AIDS testing kits. That's where the importance of these drones come into play.
When the roads are not adequate during a certain part of the year, or when the terrain is not allowing for quick transportation, getting medical supplies to an individual in need within a short time frame can make a huge difference. And that's sort of the boon of drone technology.
One of the best parts about the EcoSword drones created in the lab is just how inexpensive they are. They cost right around $20 in parts to make, not including the electronics involved. The humanitarian aspect of the Unmanned Systems Lab is what keeps these engineers coming back.
These drones serve impacts beyond just the educational purposes into some of the applications that are being done with the drones after they're built.
Reporting from Blacksburg, this is Corey Van Dyke with the newsfeed.
A biotech company in Blacksburg is developing antimicrobials to combat harmful diseases. Newsfeed reporter George Stiles has more.
Teculon Incorporated is a biotechnology company that was founded in 2006. They are a part of the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center, where they have a full lab to conduct their research.
We're focused on developing a new class of antimicrobials to target pathogens that cause most infections in healthcare settings. So those group of pathogens are known in the industry as escape pathogens. And we currently have 4 lead drug candidates that target one of the 6 pathogens in that group.
Those lead drug candidates include Acinetobacter, Pseudomonas, Klebsiella, and MRSA. Teculon recently received funding from CarbX, a Boston-based nonprofit, to continue their research.
We were fortunate to be selected. They found our technology to be interesting and intriguing and showed signs of promise. So in this first phase of the CarbX project, we'll be continuing to refine our lead drug candidates that target Pseudomonas and Acinetobacter infections.
Teculon still has work to do along the research trail, but they hope to continue to receive funding and advance their technology to eventually have microbial agents in the marketplace to successfully kill these harmful diseases. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm George Stiles.
Veterans Day was earlier this week, and Christiansburg commemorated it appropriately. On Monday, the town of Christiansburg held its annual Veterans Day Parade. All 4 high schools from Montgomery County sent their marching bands to perform alongside their color guards. Montgomery County high schools have started a Corps of Cadets program recently, and cadets from each high school marched in the parade for the first time ever, being judged on their marching ability. The event is popular in the area, with veterans from recent conflicts in Afghanistan marching alongside World War II vets.
And we're doing it on Veterans Day. Some other localities do theirs before, but we're actually able to honor them on their day, and it's wonderful, you know.
The majority of attendees were Christiansburg Elementary students. Every year, the lower grades take a field trip to the parade as part of their Patriotism Standards of Learning standardized test.
Virginia Tech honored Veterans Day by hosting a 72-hour transcribathon to make World War II documents public. Participants typed out original documents written by American soldiers during the global conflict. This event is part of the American Soldier Project, which started back in May of 2018 to make these written reflections available. Once the documents are reviewed 3 times, they will be available to the public for the first time. The goal of the American Soldier Project is to type out 65,000 documents, and the transcribathon's goal is 2,000. An organizer of the project says why he felt it was important to bring the participants together to commemorate Veterans Day.
You know, the Veterans Day is to celebrate not only those who had passed, but just who had served. And so it's a broad holiday, I think of it. And so what better way to do that than to preserve the memory of these soldiers who served during World War II.
Participants were offered food and prizes if they started sharing quotes from the document. The event exceeded its global goal, completing 2,500 documents. Participants are still able to transcribe the reflections online.
Blacksburg's Town Council Commission has begun discussions on one of the largest developments in the town's history. Newsfeed reporter Nick Rios has more.
On Tuesday, the Town of Blacksburg Planning Commission decided to push back their decision on the recommendation of the proposed Gilbert Street mixed-use project. This development would be a significant project for the town of Blacksburg, with the current plan calling for a 236,000 square foot and 5-story building to go on the existing retail site on the corner of Price's Fork Road and North Main Street. One of the biggest concerns from some council members is if the town of Blacksburg is even ready for a building of this stature. So just how significant is this project? Well, it's one of the largest projects in Blacksburg history at an estimated height of over 100 feet. And with the population of Blacksburg growing each year and more industry giants coming into the area like Daimler did earlier this year by acquiring Torque Robotics, the finalization of this building will only open the door for more large-scale projects like this one in the future.
There's just no way that we can accommodate all these new faces without continuing to build here in Blacksburg.
The proposal includes the demolition of the old Buffalo Wild Wings building and the building that currently houses both Five Guys and the Blacksburg Wine Lab. The project is expected to provide space for a national retailer on the first floor, a rooftop restaurant, and offices for university. The town council will take final action on this request December 10th at a public hearing where the applicant and the public will be given the opportunity to comment. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Nicholas Rios.
Just ahead on the newsfeed, the Wonder Universe Children's Museum moves to the New River Valley Mall. Find out what improvements are in store.
And the local favorite YMCA craft fair took place last weekend. Find out what makes this one special. That story and more after this break.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Welcome back to the newsfeed. I'm Hunter Hokies.
And I'm Kelsey Vick. Blacksburg was filled with arts and crafts from vendors all over the region. Newsfeed reporter Linda Kill joins us in the newsroom with more.
Thanks, Kelsey. Blacksburg Community Center was filled with hundreds of people this past weekend for the annual YMCA Craft Fair.
The YMCA hosted their 50th annual craft fair this past weekend at the Blacksburg Community Center. The fair was filled with artisans from all over Virginia and neighboring states. Some of the vendors even traveled over 4 hours to be at this event. Vendors were selling a wide range of arts and crafts, from pottery, soaps, clothing, jewelry, and even banana leaf art.
So every year we try to recruit new people, and this year I think we were successful in that respect, but we were hoping for more vendors and hoping to get the word out for next year.
Throughout the weekend, there were performances from a cappella groups, dance groups, story time with local authors, and other live musicians. This event supports the vendors, but also supports many of the YMCA programs, which play a big role in connecting the community.
So the craft fair is a really big thing because we're trying to basically combine the community with students, because students can be very lost. So this is a really important thing where you can see local businesses and you can see what the community actually is.
The proceeds from this event will be used to support Blacksburg's YMCA after-school programs.
The fair will be back next year, and the coordinators are planning to make it even bigger and better than this year's. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Linda Kill. Back to you in the studio.
More families now have an opportunity to educate their kids in a fun way as a children's museum moves to Christiansburg. The Wonder Universe Children's Museum unveiled its new and larger location on Thursday, November 7th in the New River Valley Mall, after previously being located at the First and Main Shopping Center in Blacksburg. The museum moved to the new location to offer greater accessibility to the families of the New River Valley. The museum offers interactive exhibits and activities targeted at children from birth to the 5th grade. Exhibits are based in scientific and artistic fields, including technology, regional heritage, and health and wellness, which are sponsored by many members and organizations of the community and are typically set up in the museum for roughly 7 years at a time. Executive Director of the museum, Sarah Nucci, says that this will help produce a need for education young children, something that many in the New River Valley don't already have.
More than half of the kids in the New River Valley are not enrolled in a preschool program, which is astonishing, but we're kind of helping provide that service because those families need a place to go. Their kids, need these opportunities, and it's a great affordable way for them to, for us to provide a community.
Wonder Universe will be introducing new attractions in the future, including a tire mountain, air cars, and water sustainability exhibits, while other programs at the museum will be evolving as time goes on. The museum will be open from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, and 12 to 6 p.m. on Sunday, with general admission being $8 per person over the age of 1.
Virginia Tech has always been known to be a leader in on-campus dining, but it is also highly ranked in its green initiatives. The Princeton Review's Guide to Green Colleges for 2019 named Virginia Tech the 12th most environmentally responsible school in the nation. Virginia Tech has put over $1 million into sustainability efforts since 2010. The money went towards adding over 100 water bottles refill stations, electric hand dryers, and multiple big belly trash containers, among many more eco-friendly features. Just a few weeks ago, students added stickers to each recycling bin, stating what can go into it. The efforts are at an all-time high, as 18 student proposals for a greener campus were approved this past year.
That's it. We want to be a leader in campus sustainability. That's how we're going to do it. If we're going to be in it, we're going to be in it to lead. It's that simple. And that was our initial point number one. We will be a leader in campus sustainability, period. And all the rest of them just fall in place.
Many other future projects are set, but the biggest will turn Perry Street into a multimodal transit facility to help cut down on emissions. Just ahead on the newsfeed, the Hokies wrestling team's meet this past weekend was in an unusual place. Find out where next.
Plus, lots of new faces on the Virginia Tech women's basketball team this year. Hear about their start next.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to the newsfeed. I'm Hunter Hokies.
And I'm Kelsey Vick. Virginia Tech Wrestling held the Mat on the Mound event at English Field this past Sunday. It was the first time the team has had a match outside. Preparing for a wrestling match outdoors in the middle of November is a challenge in itself. Another issue is setting up for full ACC network broadcasts for the first time since last year. Brand new fiber was run to the English Field once updates to the stadium were completed. This allowed the operations team to test the audio and video signals with relative ease. Sam Jones from Hokie Vision has more.
Luckily, we've ran brand new everything in that stadium, so testing out, took the better part of 2 days probably, but everything came together really well, and we were excited to run, a 6-camera show for the first wrestling event in the baseball stadium.
Virginia Tech ended up winning the match 21-18 against number 21 Northwestern. The event was a success for everyone in athletics who had to prepare for something that had never been done before. The team will take on Ohio State on Sunday in Columbus.
Virginia Tech women's basketball is off to a hot start this season despite many new faces. Newsfeed reporter Robbie Fletcher joined us in the studio with more. Robbie?
Thanks, Hunter. In his 4th season as head coach, Kenny Brooks will have the challenge of leading a team with just 3 returning players from last year's team.
The women's basketball team at Virginia Tech is just 2 games into the season, but they already look like a different team from the one we saw last year. That's because it is a different team. With just 3 players from last year's squad playing this year,
Coach Kenny Brooks will be looking for new go-to players to lead the way. The team has already started strong, winning their first 2 games by a combined 83 points thanks to some of these new faces, one of which is graduate transfer Taja Cole. Cole was previously at the University of Georgia, where she was 5th in the country in assists per game last year. She discussed how Tech's style of play has made them a team to watch.
This team, we're pretty fast. We like to get up and down. Some of our strengths is definitely shooting the ball. We have a post presence. So I think we're very versatile when it comes to the dynamics of our team.
Another player to burst onto the scene is freshman center Elizabeth Kitley. The 5-star recruit has been dominant in the paint so far and says this team's winning culture on and off the court has been a big reason for her early success.
Yeah, I think we're doing great. You can tell from not just our stats and the assist number, but also, how we get excited for each other, and the bench is just as excited as the people on the court because we all love each other and we bond so well.
It may still be early in the season, but Tech's chemistry already appears to be in mid-season form. The team's next game is Friday in Blacksburg against Liberty. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Robbie. That will wrap up this edition of the Newsfeed. If you have a story idea for the Newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. And as always, you can also connect with the Newsfeed on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'm Hunter Hokies.
And I'm Kelsey Vick.